All right, now, hey y'all, welcome back to church. We ain't done something in a couple of weeks, and I feel neglectful about having not done it. Anybody's birthday we missed out here? Uh, Whose birthday is that, Mr. Donnie? Anybody else? Aunt Dawn? Whose else did I miss? Ted? Melissa? Who? Melissa's doing this. I don't know what that means. Right there. Okay. Well, happy birthday, y'all. Let's say happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God bless you. Happy birthday to you. All right. How about anniversaries? Have we missed any anniversaries? Social distancing anniversary? No anniversaries missed. Y'all are in the car. Perfect opportunity to get anniversary sugar. Ain't nobody gonna claim an anniversary. All right. Well, we'll move on from there then. Anyway, it's good to be back as best we can be here. As best we can be here. I'm looking around. I see some new faces and I see some familiar old faces, and I just want to tell y'all all I'm glad to see each one of you. I'm glad to see you here on this Mother's Day. You know, I pray that you get a blessing today. I pray too that you check on your mamas and support your mamas and you do your best you can with them. All right? Before I go any farther, I want to ask a prayer. Father God, I thank you for another opportunity to stand in your pulpit. Lord, I just ask as I'm here today that I not be a hindrance or a stumbling block for anyone. I ask that my words be according to your will and your way and your word. And Lord, I ask these things always in Jesus' name. Amen. But today we celebrate Mother's Day. We celebrate mothers or mamas in particular. It's really appropriate to look at them today and recognize all that they do. Mothers today are doing the same things they've always done, only more so. And when I say today, I mean in the midst of all this separation and all these different times we're going in. But I want you to understand that mothers are doing the same things they've always done. With schools shut down and stay-at-home orders in place, mothers are being mothers. I understand how different things are, but I want you to look and see how things are as they have always been too. We can't go to many of the places that we're used to going, such as we can't go to town every day, so we're spending more time at home. We can't go to school, so our children are being taught at home, where children were meant to learn, by the way. We can't eat at restaurants, so we're having more family dinners. I'm going to step on some toes when I say as it was meant to be, as we're supposed to be eating at home more. We're not seeing a lot of people outside our small circles, so we're really getting to know each other better. So I'm not going to say this virus is a blessing, because that wouldn't be true. This virus is not a blessing. But what is true is that blessings are found everywhere. Maybe this is a reminder of simpler times, and I think I want to add better times to that too. And I don't know if y'all would agree with me when I say better times, but I sure feel like it's better times. Hebrews 5:12 says, "For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the first principles of the oracles of God, and you come to need milk and not solid food." Y'all remember these verses I gave to you before? We talked about milk and solid food not too long ago. And this verse that I just mentioned to you is talking about how you again need milk. This is referencing new Christians and their need for milk, and more seasoned Christians' ability to eat meat. I got a gnat in my face. So I want y'all to think about something right in the middle of this verse. We see the phrase Christians' ability to eat meat. We see the phrase teach you again the first principles. We see in this verse the subject of the verse, and that should be teaching. But instead, needing milk again is what's done. When I say we see this, y'all, I'm sorry, I was distracted by what seemed to be a spider web falling across my face. But we're talking about these verses, and teaching is what's being mentioned here in particular. But instead, And that's what Christians should be doing. We should be teaching others about Christ, but instead we see the word again here. And that word again is really troubling because that's signifying to me that we're having to go back and relearn some things that we know. We already knew these things, and we're having to go back and learn them again. We're having to go back. And what's the reasons we're having to go back? We just didn't learn our lessons, or we didn't hold on to the lessons that we're learning, that we were taught. Y'all think about that phrase again. Again is a word here that's talking about our loss of something that we had. And I'm not talking about salvation. I'm talking about our fire, maybe. I'm talking about the knowing of true and right. I'm talking about what I spoke to you last week about right and wrong and it not changing, about God's word not changing, His morals not changing. I'm talking to you about the learning that He gave you in the beginning, is that you're supposed to be strong Christians, standing up, going and doing and teaching. And I mentioned mothers here in particular because y'all are the core of our learning and going and doing and teaching. Y'all are where it all starts at. Y'all are the backbone. I've said many times, and I'll repeat it again today, that women are the core of who we are as a people. When your morals are lax, our morals decline. When your morals are strong, ours are raised up. We follow your lead, ladies. Mothers in particular, you have sons and daughters at home that are learning how to be young men. You have sons and daughters at home that are learning how to be young ladies, and they're learning what's to be expected of the men in their life. And I think that lesson is being by the wayside a lot. Young ladies aren't expecting out of young men what should be given. Young men aren't giving the young ladies what should be given. Husbands and mothers, you all have jobs. You all have things to do in particular, and these things are varied and they're different. A father is supposed to be a father in the house, and a mother is supposed to be a mother in the house, and each one of you is supposed to do that according to God's word and God's will. Each one of you is supposed to stand up and take care of those jobs that were assigned to you. Y'all, as I say this, I feel like a but's coming, and I'm going to say, but we failed. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say, but we failed. I'm going to say we can do better than that. No, I'm going to say we can do better. I'm going to say that our children deserve better. I'm going to say the world deserves better. And mamas, I say this to you because you are and you always have been the leader of who we are as a moral people. Mothers, you are and you always have been the ones who set the tone and set the pace for who we're going to be as a moral people. See, God's teaching us lessons. He's using this time to remind us of the lessons that we knew and thought we had grown past. And that's a terrible thing to say. But that's not true. We didn't grow. We got off track. In a time where our children learn more from the school and their teachers, and I'm not knocking teachers at all because they're amazing, but they're not mom and dad. The lessons learned at school have become the only thing children learn. Mom and dad think they're just to be housed at home until it's time to go back to school, where they teach them everything they'll need to know. Where they go back to school and they'll learn about who God is and what's right and wrong, and that's not what school was ever meant to be. I think teachers would probably be the first to say they wish parents took more time and more active roles in teaching their kids. Teachers know they have a major role in academic lives of their kids. They also know the role that you and I should play, that mothers and fathers should play. Your kids, they learn their morals at home. They learn their math at school. And these times when we're at home, moms and dads are getting to spend more time with their kids, and they're learning more about them, and they're learning more than they have in a while. I know everybody's anxious to get back to normal, and I want to ask you if it might be better if we didn't get all the way back. If we didn't get all the way back to normal. I want to ask you if you think it might be better if we took some of the lessons that we're learning now about a simpler time and a simpler life and a different way of doing things, and we kept some of them. If we kept some of them, if we kept our kids home more than we have in the past, if we taught our kids more, if we took more responsibility with our kids, I want to ask you if you think it might be better if we had a life, and like I told you before, if we played the ditch a little more, if we dug in the dirt a little more, if you just sat on the porch with your children. I just wonder if we might be better if we did those things. Seems like everybody's growing a victory garden. Those are the big things. I got me a garden planted, a little tiny one, but I got one planted. You know, I'm just wondering if we dug in the dirt a little more, if we might dig down a little deeper in ourselves. I'm just wondering if we dug into our kids a little more, if we might learn a little bit more about ourselves. You know, I'm wondering if we instilled our morals in them more so than the schools or the people they come across. I wonder what might be different in the world. Did God send this virus to us? Is this virus a blessing? I'm going to say no to those things, but I'm going to say God's using everything, and He's working in everything. I'm going to say that right now we're learning lessons that have been long forgotten. Right now we're remembering things that we were taught. We were remembering things that our grandparents knew. We're remembering those things that we need to get back to them. We're hungry for fellowship with God in His house. We're sitting together and just being there. We're getting to know each other. We're taking our kids out of their normal circumstances. We're knowing what's going on in our families. We're having normal home life. It feels as though we're hungering for these things as they were in the past. Maybe I'm just romanticizing it. Maybe you ain't thinking of simpler times gone by so fondly as I am. Maybe my age is showing. Maybe all you want is to get back to town. Maybe all you want is to get the kids back in school and dance and karate and baseball. Maybe all you want is to get everyone out of the house again. If that's true, I guess I really am out of touch. Because I kind of thought we had somewhat of an awakening with all the changes there being. Mothers, God made you for times such as these. Mother, God instilled leaders in us, and it was in the form and the shape of you. Mothers, God put you here for times like this. Mothers, God gave you what you need to lead your families through these things, and I say that not in a way of taking the leadership role from the father, but I'm going to tell you that mothers teach their sons and daughters things differently than their fathers do. And they got to have your message. And when Father's Day rolls around, I'd say the same things to them. I'd say you make sure you instill the lessons that God has given you to give to your children. You make sure you give those lessons to those children. And mothers, you're going to make a kinder and gentler children. You're going to make children kinder and gentler. Mothers, you're going to give them morals. You're going to teach them right and wrong. Mothers, these things right here are what's missing in the world right now. These things we're missing. If you don't believe me, walk past somebody at the grocery store. Walk past somebody and see them look their eyes away from you. See them try not to make eye contact so they don't have to be nice to you. You'll look around and see people who are in need and see people who walk by recognizing that need, deciding I'm not going to do anything about it. The lesson we learn from Mama is that we take care of you even to our own detriment. The lesson we learn from Mama is that you come first. The lesson we learn from Mama is that I'm going to take care of you even if it hurts me. The lesson we learn from Mama is that I love you all the time. Those are lessons that we learn from Mama, and those are lessons that are sorely missing in the world. They're sorely missing out there, and I think that should be a big part of our getting back to a new normal. I think that should be a big part of us getting back to who we should be as a people. Not getting back to normal, but getting back to where God meant normal to be. He made you for times when all seems to be lost, when the impossible is the only answer. He made you for this moment right here. I've always said society goes the way of the woman. Moms, you can change it all. The world will follow. Who better to lead them than Mom? Let's take the best of what we've learned with this time at home and let's keep it. Let's don't allow things to go back to normal. I, for one, don't think the normal we've settled on is that good of a thing. Isaiah 44:22 says, I have swept away your transgressions like a cloud and your sins like a mist. Return to me, for I have redeemed you. I want to tell y'all to take advantage of this opportunity. He has redeemed you. He has given you sight. He has allowed you to see things as they should have been. He's allowed you to see things as He intended them. He has allowed you to see things that we have overlooked and gotten past. He's allowed you to see things, and I want you to grasp hold of them. I want you to look back and remember those things that are good. I ain't saying everything was good, but I want you to look back to what was good and grasp it and take it with you. I want you to forget those things that was bad because those were lessons we learned. Just like now, I want you to learn the lessons that are given and adopt a new lesson. I want you to adopt a new philosophy. I want you to remember how good it is to be home with your children. I want you to remember how good it is to know what's going on in your child's life. I want you to know what it feels like when your child walks away from your home into the world and they carry the morals that you raised them with them. I want you to remember what it's like when a child learns who they are at home and not at school, or not at karate, or not at dance class. I want you to remember what it is when a child learns who they are from you and from themselves and time alone play. And I want you to remember those things instead of when they learned who they are from the kids they ran with. The kids I ran with wasn't that great. I have to hesitate there, so I don't say too much about the kids I ran with. I might have been the worst among them. But I worry all the time about who I led to here, who I made think this was okay. I don't want that for our kids. I don't want them to learn from the lowest denominator. I want them to learn at home. I want them to learn from Mom and Daddy. I want them to learn from Grandma. I want them to learn from that line of people that was before them. I want them to learn in that line of people who instilled these morals and who we are. I want them to learn from that person. And I want them to learn from God, because God gave those lessons to us in the form of those people. Y'all ever read scripture and go through the books where it's begatting this one, and this one begat this one, and this one begat this one? Them are some long books. It's important to know where we came from. It's important to know our line, because we are learning, we are taking message. We are who we are because of those who came before us, because of who God made them, and God thought it was important enough that He put it in His Word to tell them where they came from. Y'all remember where you came from. Remember the lessons your mama's giving you. Remember the lessons your daddy's giving you, and go out in the world and be that person. Don't be who the world expects you to be. Be who you meant to be. Be who God meant for you to be. This is a promise God gave to us long ago. Pay special attention to return to Him. That's what it said there. Return to me, for I have redeemed you. Take lessons from what we've learned and about what we've done right and what we've done wrong, and let's get back to normal. But y'all, I ain't telling you what normal is. I ain't telling you what the normal I'm talking about is. I said let's get back to normal. I reckon it depends on how old you are as to what you think normal is. I don't want to get back to the normal of the past few years. I don't want to get back to that normal. I want to get back to the normal where mom and daddy are mom and daddy. I want to get back to the normal where the child said yes ma'am and no ma'am. I want to get back to the time where when a child got in trouble at school, they were scared for mom and daddy to find out. I want to get back to a time where the teacher didn't have to discipline, but it was all right if they did smack that little hiney. I want to get back to a time where that teacher knew all they had to do was tell mama. Oh, and mama was going to have a fit. And then after that poor child had to worry about when daddy got home. It was just all day torment, wasn't it? Just all day torment. That's the way it was meant to be. How bad's it gonna be when mama gets here? How bad's it gonna be when daddy finds out? That's the way it was meant to be. Y'all, there's always a price to pay for your actions. There's always a price to pay for your actions. You know, our God is the God who forgives. Our God is the God who offers salvation and redemption, and that's what He is. That's who He is. That's what He does for us. There's a price to pay for your misdeeds, though. There's a price to pay. Yeah, He'll forgive you. He'll forgive you. What happens if we don't raise the children right? What's the price to pay, and who has to pay it? Mamas and daddies, we can learn a lesson about what we did wrong, but is the child going to have to pay the price for what we did or what we didn't teach them? Mom and daddies, we can learn and we can be forgiven, just like that child can learn and be forgiven. Well, what about the responsibility we hold for not giving that child the right message in the beginning? What about the price that has to be paid for those misdeeds, because they're always there? I want to tell you, God's strength can overcome anything, man. God's forgiveness can overcome anything. You know, I look and I know that you're at home and you're doing all these things, and that things seem hard and seem troublesome, and I know it is, because I'm right there with you. I'm right here with you, not knowing what to do a lot of times, not knowing what to say, not knowing what the next steps are to take as we start thinking about when to open the doors up again. And I worry about if I open up too soon, which one of you is not going to be able to come to church because you're not in the safety of your car anymore. I worry about if I open up too late, which one of us is going to miss a blessing by not being able to worship God fully in His house. I worry about those things, and the worry is not the right word. It's concern, and it's my responsibility to think about those things. Worry, God don't want me to worry. But still yet, I have care and concern for each one of you. I have care and concern for each one of you. I think that's one of the biggest things we're missing, care and concern. You know, where'd that lesson come from? Back to mom. Back. Yo, I want to tell you, this God that I'm talking to you about forgives from everything. He forgives you from all you've done. He forgives those things you didn't think He's forgiven. He forgives those things you forgot you did. He forgives those things that you wish you had. He forgives those misdeeds. He forgives those missteps. I'm trying to think all the things He forgives. But Joe, it's a full-time job for Him doing those things. There's no way I'd be able to do it. But I want to tell you, He does His job great. He knows all your misdeeds. He knows all your missteps, and He will forgive you from them, and He'll release you from them. Never to remember. Never to remember. That's a great thing, y'all, because I've done a bunch of bad things. But He don't think nothing about them no more. I'm going to tell you, it's Mother's Day. And I'm going to pray for mothers, and I'm going to pray for y'all to learn and grow. I'm going to pray for y'all to continue being the strong mothers you've been. I'm going to pray for you to learn lessons from maybe mistakes we've made. I'm going to pray for your children to hear them. I'm going to pray for them to change. I'm going to pray for your children to grow up and exhibit and show the morals and the standards that you set for them. I'm going to pray for the teachers in the schools as they accept our children back. I'm going to pray that as we get back to a normal that is not the same normal. I'm going to pray for a new normal. Having said that, I'm a Baptist, and this is the best I can do for an altar call. If you're here and you're not saved, I'm going to pray for a new normal for you too. If you're here and you're not saved, I'm going to pray that you would accept God, that you would accept the forgiveness that He offers, that you would accept the mercy and the grace that He gives. I'm going to pray that you would have those things ready and willing to lay down before Him. I'm going to pray that you'd be ready and willing to accept the new normal in your life. I'm going to pray that you would have this, because this normal that I'm talking about is such an awesome thing. It's such a great taste and a great feeling to stand before somebody blameless. Stand before God blameless. It's such a great feeling to stand and claim the blood of Jesus Christ in my life and know that everything is forgiven and everything is washed away, that everything is done and changed and I'm new. It's a great feeling to have that, to do that, to know that. It's a great feeling, and I want you to have it. If you're here and you've never been forgiven, if you've never asked God in your life, these deacons who are standing outside the cars, I want you to roll your window down. I want you to pull to the side and ask them to pray with you. If you're saved and you're just troubled and you need some prayer, you can pull to the side and ask them to pray with you. If you won't lay something down you've been carrying, if it's a burden that you can't turn loose of, or that you don't think you can turn loose of, I want you to ask them to pray with you. I want you to know it's a new normal for you right now too. I want you to know this new normal is going to take hold and it's going to grow and we're going to change. It's going to be a new world. It's going to be all these things. Y'all want to tell you, I love you more important than God loves you. I want to tell you it's a great day to be His child. I want to tell you it's a great day for you to ask Him into your life and into your home. As we have our closing prayer, I want you to take it as an altar call. And seek me out, you seek out one of these people that needs your prayer, if you need somebody. And if you have a strong opinion on church and what you think about when we should come back to this house, this place, if you have a worry about when you think you come back, you got my telephone number, you call me. But as Alan comes forward, he's going to close us with prayer. And I want you to know that God has got you. He's right here for you as we pray.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, again, we thank you, Lord, for allowing us to come together, Lord. Today, I thank you for godly, loving, patient women, Lord. I just thank you for it. Lord, I just thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for the breeze we got this morning. Just thank you for a beautiful day to be in your house, Lord, and outside of your house, Lord. And I thank you for the blessings that we've learned over the last 2 months, Lord. They came in different ways, Lord, but I thank you for it. And as we go our separate ways, Lord, I pray that everyone here takes you with them and shares you with us. And I just thank you for Jesus' name.
All right, y'all. I want to tell you as we go, we'll be back here next Sunday if the Lord's willing. I want to tell you as we go that I love you, but more important, God loves you. I love you. I mean it. I'll see you soon.